A designer baby is a genetically modified child with specially selected traits which can vary from lower disease risk to gender selection. Designer babies were hypothetical or primary science fiction. However, the rapid advancement of technology made designer babies an increasingly real possibility. Designer babies represent an area within embryology that has yet not become a practical reality, but nothing less draws out ethical concerns about whether it will become necessary to implement limitations regarding designer babies in the future. The prospect of engineering a child with specific traits is not far-fetched. IVF has become an increasingly common procedure to help couples with infertility problems conceive children, and the practice of IVF confers the ability to pre-select embryos before implantation. For example, pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, otherwise known as PGD, allows viable embryos to be screened for various genetic traits such as sex-linked diseases before implanting them in the mother. Through PGD, physicians can select embryos that are not pre-diagnosed to certain genetic conditions. For this reason, PGD is commonly used in medicine when parents carry genes that place their children at risk for serious diseases. Present technology capabilities point to PGD as the likely method for selecting traits, since scientists have not established a reliable means of in vivo embryonic gene selection. An example of this is when Scott Collins saw doctors at the Genetics and IVF Institute for in vitro fertilization, as their first two children were boys and the couple wanted a daughter in the family. Though the Collins case only involved choice of gender, it raised the issue of selection for other traits such as eye color, hair color, athleticism, or height that are not generally related to the health of the child. Prior to the Collins decision to choose the sex of their child, the Council on Ethical and Judicial Affairs released a statement in support of using genetic selection to prevent, cure, or target specific diseases. Some ethical concerns held by opponents of designer babies are related to the social implications of creating children with preferred traits. The social argument against designer babies is that if this technology becomes a realistic and accessible medical practice, then it would create a division between those that can afford the service and those that cannot. Therefore, the wealthy would be able to afford the selection of desirable traits in their offspring, while those of lower social standing would not be able to access the same options. As a result, economic divisions may grow into genetic divisions, with social distinctions delineating enhanced individuals from unenhanced individuals. The increased ability to control and manipulate embryos present many possibilities for improving the future health of children. But these possibilities are coupled with potential social repercussions that could have negative consequences in the future. Ultimately, designer babies represent great potential in the field of medicine and scientific research, but there remain many ethical questions that need to be addressed.